So it's been officially confirmed that the implementation of ISO 222 messaging format is happening July 14th for the Fedwire Fund Service. And as the Federal Reserve shifts trillions of dollars in payments to this new messaging standard starting Monday, it's not going to be a gradual transition, but rather a big bang conversion that's set to be the biggest event to happen in payments history that 99% of the world has no idea is happening right now. So in this video, we're going to explain what this means for you, for your bank account, for your crypto portfolio. On top of that, what's happening with the Fed balance sheet, the effective federal funds rate. After 3 years of quantitative tightening, the Fed's balance sheet is screaming oversold. While inflation is down at 2.4%, Donald Trump is not letting up on Jerome Powell. And with this new document that has just been released by the U.S. Federal Housing Finance Agency, as a statement from the chairman of the board of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac, saying that Jerome Powell is considering resigning, this is absolutely massive because Fedwire and the Federal Reserve settles over $1 quadrillion a year. That's 15 zeros, 1,000 times bigger than 1 trillion. And there's two companies that are both key partners with Ripple that are also key tech providers for the Fedwire Fund Service. And so we need to talk about that in this video. We also need to discuss what's happening with XRP ETFs, what I talked about in my video yesterday on the price chart for XRP to the US dollar and what's happening right now and my expectations moving forward. Plus, we're going to get into the Bitcoin stock to flow model and talk about where we are in this macro market cycle. Because a lot of you guys have asked, is now the best time to buy? Is now the best time to sell? Should you hold? What should you do? Well, when you stick all the way to the end of this video, you're going to discover how to earn passive income on your crypto that you are holding and the strategies that our team is implementing right now to be able to maximize our upside, minimize our downside, the rest of this crypto market. So if you're feeling bullish, comment 777. You're going to love this video. If you're feeling blessed, comment 777. And as always, if you're going to become the first millionaire in your family tree, confirm it by tapping the subscribe button. Let's run it. Hey, what's up, my friend? Nick here. Quick heads up for all you smart investors watching this. If you love to see your crypto actually working for you, earning passive income every single day on your coins, we're putting together something really cool. On July 20th, we're running our first ever free online event challenge. It's called the Crypto Passive Cash Flow Challenge. And it's basically 3 days where you'll learn our DeFi strategies we use to safely earn passive yield on our coins 24/7, even while we sleep. And some people are doing crazy numbers with this strategy alone. And if you had some coins that you're just holding on to, you should join us and discover how to put them to work. We've never done anything like this publicly before, and we probably won't ever do it again. So it's completely free, but we might have to limit spots to keep the quality high and give everyone proper attention with the size of our YouTube channel, over 360,000 subscribers now. So if you want in, just click the link below this video, grab your spot while you can, and now back to the video. All right, bull runners, welcome back to the channel. So the last week for the crypto market, been absolutely incredible. A lot of these projects up, 10, 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, even some projects, up like 800%. So with this major event happening in 2 days, this is going to be one of the most important videos that you guys watch in regards to the ISO 222 messaging standard that's taking place. Because on the official Federal Reserve website, it was confirmed on June 18th that this would take place July 14th after pushing this back several months. And even for the past several years, the Federal Reserve Financial Services has worked with the industry to prepare for this upcoming implementation for the Fedwire Fund Service. Now, a lot of you are wondering, what does this mean with this new ISO 222 messaging format? Well, put it simply, it's an upgrade for the entire world, mainly because the dollar is the global currency that's used for settlement and trade. And they were supposed to migrate in March of this year, and it was expected that this transition will boost the adoption of their real-time payment services. So basically making payments faster and cheaper inside the United States. And FedNow, which enables instant payments 24/7, 365 for financial institutions, companies, and individuals. So now the Federal Reserve Financial Services is pushing for banks all across the United States to be ready for this, with the FedNow service having more than 1,400 participants headquartered in all 50 states. If you guys go to their Twitter account, you can see the full list right here, where it says the Federal Reserve's FedNow service is an instant payment infrastructure that allows participating banks and credit unions to send and receive transactions within seconds rather than days, 24 hours a day, 7 days a week. This is massive. So ACH wire transfers, gone are going to be the days where it takes 3 to 5 days to receive your money. And you can see right here, as of July 7th, 2025, all of the banks that are implementing this along with the settlement agents and liquidity providers too. And we can see right here on the list, BNY Mellon is a liquidity provider in New York. So it's no coincidence why BNY Mellon just a few days ago, July 9th, made this announcement saying they are going to serve as the primary reserve custodian of Ripple's stablecoin RLUSD to bridge the gap between traditional finance and the cryptocurrency ecosystems. So BNY Mellon is not only the primary reserve custodian for RLUSD, but they are also listed as one of the main settlement agents and liquidity providers for the Federal Reserve's FedNow service. And if you look right here at the Office of the Comptroller of the Currency, Corporate Applications, you can see a new bank charter has been proposed in the bank name Ripple National Trust Bank, based in New York. So this isn't just about crypto anymore. This is a financial infrastructure shift happening in real time. And on top of that, Donald Trump issued an executive order in March calling on the federal government to shift almost exclusively to using electronic payments by the end of September. This means ditching paper checks for U.S. payments as well as U.S. collections from taxpayers and others. So depending on what bank you bank with, you're going to start to see these notifications pop up in your account, like this one right here, saying on July 14th, per Federal Reserve requirements, our wire sending format will be switched from FAIM to ISO, resulting in updates to data fields for wire transfers. And this is the same exact week where the much anticipated US stablecoin bill is expected to pass. So it's not just a coincidence, guys. This is all coordinated here. So what this means is we're moving away from a debt-based system and stepping into a new credit-based era, a financial system that puts power back in the hands of the people. Where ISO is a global financial messaging standard, basically code, just like how blockchain is also code. In order to participate in the system, your infrastructure must speak the same language. So banks of the future are going to need to adopt this, along with cryptocurrency companies and projects. That's why assets like XRP, XLM, Algorand, HBAR, and a few others have been ISO aligned from the start. They were built for this. But this isn't the finish line here. This is just the start, because by November of this year, SWIFT officially goes live on ISO globally, which is the final piece to the puzzle. And this is where global liquidity truly becomes interoperable. And this is why the USDebtClock.org has been dropping clues for a long time, talking about the new money revolution, a golden age, and Trump has been using this language in his speeches because he knows what's coming. Because with US national debt over $37 trillion and US federal spending at $7 trillion, with US federal tax revenue at only $5 trillion, there's a $2+ trillion federal budget deficit. This is why Trump has been hammering the Fed chair Jerome Powell to lower interest rates, and Jerome Powell, out of ego, doesn't want to do it, so Trump has been right, and the next step is to fire Jerome Powell. Listen to this.
No inflation, our country is strong, our interest rate should be 3 points lower. If our interest rate was 3 points lower, that's almost $1 trillion in cost. And it's done just by the signing of a pen, but we have a moron at the head of the Fed. He's a moron.
So as you guys already know, since April of 2022, the Fed has been raising rates until August of 2023, and then pausing rates. They drop rates for a little bit, but now Jerome Powell has just been keeping rates steady and flat since January of this year, when it's time for him to start lowering interest rates, which makes overnight loans cheaper for banks and overall is incredibly bullish for the crypto market. On top of that, the Fed has been tightening on their balance sheet since 2022, falling to the lowest level since April of 2020. So in June, the Federal Reserve cut its balance sheet by $13 billion, bringing it to $6.6 trillion, its lowest since April of 2020. And since 2021, total assets are down $2.3 trillion, which is 26%. Treasury holdings are down $1.56 trillion, now at $4.2. MBS is down $590 billion to $2.14 trillion. Still, the balance remains $2.5 trillion, which is 60% above pre-COVID levels. So pandemic-era stimulus is far from fully unwound. And this is known as QT, or quantitative tightening. So this process is expected to continue for some time, with the Fed slowing the pace of runoff. And you guys can go to the federalreserve.gov under their monetary policy, and you can look at it over the past 3 months. You can see right here, it's bottomed out on July 2nd. And so depending on what Jerome Powell says in his next speech will really determine the next few months for the Fed balance sheet, because it's not yet determined if they're going to start adding to their balance sheet again, because it's going to be driven by economic conditions and the need to adjust the supply and interest rates, where the decision to end quantitative tightening and begin quantitative easing is going to vary based on economic growth, which Donald Trump says the economy is doing great. Jerome Powell says they still need to just keep watching it, whatever that means. Inflation, the Fed's target is 2%. Well, if you guys go to the inflation rate right here, it's showing 2.4%, whereas trueflation shows 1.69% below the Fed's target. And then ultimately, the stability of the financial markets would be used to address their quantitative tightening program. So according to Google's AI, it's difficult to pinpoint the exact date because it's based on opinions and also Jerome Powell and what he wants to do. Well, a lot of market experts and major institutions are expecting the Fed to stop quantitative tightening And late 2025 this year, Wells Fargo economists believe that the Fed will stop shrinking its balance sheet at the end of this year, with the balance sheet remaining flat through the middle of 2026. And then some analysts suggest that the Fed may be engaging in stealth quantitative easing by reinvesting principal payments from agency debt and agency mortgage-backed securities into Treasury securities. But nonetheless, after 3 years of quantitative tightening, the Fed's balance sheet is screaming oversold right here on the chart. So nothing stays oversold forever, and rate cuts will lead the charge. Liquidity injections follow, and then risk on accelerates, which basically is the main catalyst for alt season that we need, because inflation is low right now and Jerome Powell is just holding on, not wanting to lower the effective federal funds rate until something breaks. And as you guys can see back here, in March of 2021, inflation was at 2.6%, and then by April went to 4.2%, and it just trended all the way up until June of 2022, that entire bull run. So if inflation starts to tick up, well, that's bullish for the crypto market. So we're in a really good position right now for crypto. And on top of that, M2 in yellow here, or the global liquidity index that shows expansion in money globally, which is one of the main catalysts that actually moves the markets right here. You can see last bull run, what took place from March of 2018 when global liquidity was retracting or tightening and then started to expand slowly but surely. After COVID, global liquidity went through the roof because the Fed lowered interest rates drastically and started expanding to their balance sheet. As you can see right here in total assets in millions of dollars by like February of 2020 to June of 2020, their balance sheet absolutely exploded. On top of that, look at where the effective federal funds rate was at. It was at 0.05 to 0.06 or 0.1 over the course of those 2 years. So it was the perfect storm of opportunity. Low interest rates, the Fed adding rapidly to their balance sheet, M2 global liquidity in yellow was expanding rapidly after April of 2020, as you can see. So those three things really create a perfect storm of opportunity for the crypto market. So right now, what we're seeing for M2 global liquidity, since March of 2025, it's broken out and gone into price discovery on yellow here, whereas Total 2, the crypto total market cap, is still below its previous high. So it's lagging behind global liquidity, but it's just starting to break out right now. So if global liquidity in yellow at the top of the screen here continues to expand upwards, then that would be an extremely bullish catalyst for the crypto market. Number 2 would be for the Fed to stop quantitative tightening and ultimately quantitative easing to start adding to their balance sheet again, causing investors to be more risk on. And number 3 would be the Fed lowering the interest rates from where we're at right now at 4.33%. So it's all coming together because it's no coincidence why a statement from the chairman of the board of Fannie Mae and Freddie Mac is reporting that Jerome Powell is considering resigning. So similar to what happened with Gary Gensler, where before he could be fired or told off, he steps down to save his ego. This is what's happening with Jerome Powell right now. And at the end of this document, he says, I think this will be the right direction for America and the economy will boom. So everyone wants Jerome Powell gone. And this is all happening in divine timing while the Federal Reserve is shifting over to the ISO 222 standard, where the largest source of present day volume with money traces its roots back to the creation of the Fedwire at the turn of the 20th century, where Fedwire was the first mechanism to move money electronically. Fast forward to present, in 2022, actually a few years ago, just over 1 quadrillion. That's 1,000 times bigger than 1 trillion in transfers originated through the Fedwire in a single year. So I don't think people realize how big this is going to be for the ISO projects long term. Since then, the Diners card ushered in Visa and MasterCard in the 1950s and 60s, and a consortium of the largest U.S. banks came together to create the clearinghouse TCH and its ACH payment network in 1970s. Until TCH launched the real-time payment network in 2017, there has been no major payment innovation in U.S. rails for banks in over 40 years. Until 2 days from right now, depending on when you're watching this video, FedNow will join the real-time payments in enabling businesses to send funds in real time, anytime, any day of the week, and then globally by November of 2025, later this year. And here's where this gets really interesting because Finastra, which has a partnership with RippleNet via Fusion Total Messaging, allowing existing bank systems to route payments effectively, leveraging instant settlement to transact in seconds instead of days. Well, with this partnership, regulated financial businesses and institutions and banks can connect to RippleNet's network via a Fusion Total Messaging adapter using standard FIN messages, allowing them to control their file and messaging flows, seamlessly integrating with payments and treasury systems, reducing the risks and costs associated with onboarding. So Ripple having partnership with central banks across the globe, guys, they are a part of the whole infrastructure by November 2025. And this is just the start in the United States. So RippleNet via Fusion Total Messaging is going to provide interoperability between existing messaging systems and RippleNet blockchain technology. And if you look here on the left-hand side of the screen, well, you see integrated dashboard provides high visibility. Well, interoperability with interbank services including SWIFT, FIN, FileAct, Interact, SIS, Euro SIC, SECOM, Fedwire Fund Service, TCH, real-time payments chips. Guys, what more do you need to see here? On the 14th of July, this starts the Big Bang right here. And as you know in the universe, the theory of the Big Bang then expands out to other universes. Well, this is where it's going to expand out globally from here because as you can see, the real-time gross settlement system, the status and the date, well, the majority of central banks and real-time gross settlement systems will be migrated to the ISO standard by the end of this year. So this is a massive month, but the biggest month will be November at the end of this bull run. So prepare for the tsunami that's coming, guys, because XRP, in my opinion, will explode. It's only a matter of time because there's also a flood of XRP ETF deadlines hitting this month. And the biggest one of them all is BlackRock. Over the next month or two, they might soon enter the XRP ETF space. I wouldn't doubt it. Why wouldn't they? I mean, if they're already in the Bitcoin ETF space and in the Ethereum ETF space, it would be stupid and just downright ignorant for them to not be in the XRP ETF space. Why wouldn't they? It's number 3. If you want to create a monopoly on the industry or have dominance, you want to have all of the top 10. So it's inevitable that BlackRock would add XRP ETF, right? Well, if you guys didn't watch my video yesterday that was titled "It's BS, They Lied to Us All, This Happened Next," where Larry Fink was lying to us about Bitcoin and institutional demand, saying there was no institutional interest in Bitcoin, and then coming out later and saying he's extremely bullish on Bitcoin and it's going to be money of the future and digital reserve of the future. Well, what has he said about Ripple and an XRP ETF? He's been lying to us again because they have been planning this all along. Listen to this.
Advent of Bitcoin ETFs is an example that we're legitimizing it. We're creating more safety.
Well, let me ask you this. Will you do another ETF? How about an XRP ETF? I know you got Ether out there. How about XRP? Can you answer that?
I can't. And you don't want me to.
I do.
Well, I can't.
All right. They're giving me the rap. Thank you.
So pay attention to language here. It's not that he won't or doesn't want to. It's he can't because he signed an NDA most likely that doesn't allow him to speak on it, which is the majority of these financial institutions. In fact, in the legal documents that were released, Ripple announced that there were all these NDAs that these major players signed. Because why would they let peons like us understand what's about to happen in the financial system without them getting in first? And I know this because I was working on brokering deals for BlackRock when Bitcoin was around $30,000 OTC, when they were buying billions of dollars of Bitcoin without anyone knowing. Because people that bought Bitcoin all the way between $1 to $100 that have thousands of Bitcoin or billions of dollars that are just holding on to it, well, BlackRock has been quietly coming in, scooping up that Bitcoin OTC, which is over the counter, not affecting the price on the secondary market. Because if you think about it, if someone has some Bitcoin in a wallet and you have some cash in a bank account or USDT or USDC, they send you the Bitcoin, you send them the USDT, you didn't buy that position spot, it doesn't affect the price, it's just a swap of hands. That's what's been happening with BlackRock over the past few years since the bear market bottom. And let me just tell you, what they have planned next for XRP will blow your mind. So I've seen it firsthand through conversations that I've actually personally had to broker these deals. And now we're going to witness the most insane thing for XRP by the end of this year. Just get ready for it. So in my video yesterday, I talked about the Wyckoff schematic with XRP going into the SOS phase, breaking this previous resistance, and then just holding on top of it as support. And so that's what we're seeing happen right now for XRP. Go figure. It broke all the way out here to $2.90, pulling back to $2.75. So I would just expect XRP to chop within this range for a little while. And we need it to hold on top of $2.65, which it's currently doing right now as support. And so in order for me to accumulate XRP, everything that I just talked about fundamentally at the start of this video is great. It's incredibly bullish, but don't be stupid and be naive and just buy into something because fundamentally it's rock solid. You need to learn how to look at the chart as well too, which is why inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below, we dropped our technical analysis essentials course that goes through everything that you guys need to know. It has an entire workbook for you as well too, to lay the groundwork, get TradingView set up, customize your charts, add cryptos to your watch list, understand trend lines, understanding price range, date ranges, long and short position tools, line charts, candlesticks, you name it. Basically, all of the common indicators, how to use them in the 4 horsemen of technical analysis: trend, price action, support and resistance, and volume. That way, when you look at a chart, you can understand the best times to buy, the best times to sell. Because as always, these videos are not financial advice. I'm not going to tell you to buy. I'm not going to tell you to sell XRP. I'm just going to show you what's happening on the charts, because this is all purely for speculation, information, educational purposes only. Because as you know, crypto's risky. You can definitely lose money in these markets, which is what a lot of people do that come in here naively listening to a video that say it's extremely bullish, and then they buy into these massive rallies like this, and then they get frustrated when XRP sells off 20, 30, 40, 50%. Like what happened right here over the course of a month. XRP dropped 30% from the beginning of December to the end of December. By Christmas time, everyone that was selling their XRP down here, well, then XRP rallied and pumped all the way up here again. So you need to learn how to look at charts. And I'll give you a few key pointers here in this video, but to get all of the pointers, you want to go through the Technical Analysis Essentials course. If you haven't done this yet, then what are you still doing watching this video right now? It's the most important course and the best place to start if you're brand new, and even if you're a seasoned veteran, you just want to polish up on your skills and learn some new strategies to be able to look at charts and understand when the best time to buy or sell would be. Because right now, the stochastic RSI is at 98 and 99 for the K line and the D line. We are in drastically overbought conditions on the daily chart. Also on the relative strength index, we're at 77 right now, and you can see the MACD on the histogram is in positive momentum, which is bullish because we're experiencing a reversal right now, but we do need to hold above $2.65 while XRP ranges between support, which is this red box you can see, and resistance, which is roughly $3 right here. And so in order to accumulate more XRP, what I would want to see while XRP ranges sideways, like I talked about in my past few videos, I would want to see the stochastic RSI come back down and reset below 20. And also I would want to see the relative strength index come down as well to closer to 50 and ideally closer to 30, which might not happen because of how aggressive this move was. But if you just simply look on the chart and you see when the stochastic RSI was down here below 20 and where price action on the chart was, at these major low points right here in these dips for XRP, you can see right here, we were below 20 when XRP was at $1.90 all the way down here. We were below 20 for the K line, the D line. Also, the relative strength index was down here at 31 and 34 right here on the 22nd of June. Even all the way back here at $1.93, you can see we were below 20 right here. The relative strength index was at 32. So this does take patience because it doesn't necessarily matter what's happening on the price chart. It more so matters what happens for confluence between multiple different indicators on macro and even micro timeframes. Which is why I also made this playlist for you guys titled The Top Crypto Live Trading Strategies for Beginners. And I'll leave a link for that in the description below as well too. Or you can go to playlists on the channel and just find it by typing in the name of it, where I break down the strategy that I apply just using the stochastic RSI and the relative strength index to look for divergences for the best long and short opportunities. Because on a macro time frame, the whole industry, XRP included, is following Bitcoin. If we look at Bitcoin's stock to flow model right here and where we are in terms of the days until the next halving, and we just zoom in here, you can see that we're transitioning from yellow to light green right now as we're breaking out for Bitcoin and price discovery. In last bull run, when that was happening for Bitcoin was when we were down here about like July of 2021, and we were experiencing that double top where Bitcoin was breaking back out above $67,000. And the cycle before then was even more explosive, with Bitcoin breaking out from like $1,900 all the way up here to $5,000, experiencing a little pullback, and then exploding upwards of $19,000, almost $20,000 at the tail end of 2017. The cycle before then, all the way back here in 2013, 2014, you can see the same thing. From yellow to light green, Bitcoin absolutely exploded from $132 to over $1,000. And by then, the bull run was over. Because once we went from light green to light blue, you guys can see this was just a complacency stage bounce, and we just bled out from there all the way to dark blue in the bear market bottom. And I think it's going to play out exactly the same, although the chart might look a little bit different, price action might look a little bit different, because as you can tell, 2017's bull run was a lot more explosive to the upside, whereas 2021, we saw this explosion to the upside, massive sell-off, and then a double top that was not really this parabolic blow-off top compared to 2017 or 2013. So this cycle is going to look different than all of them. Nobody knows exactly what it will look like, but the story remains the same. The Federal Reserve is going to stop tightening on their balance sheet by the end of this year. Jerome Powell is considering resigning before he could be fired by Donald Trump, and so that would lead to a decrease in the interest rates. The U.S. national debt is going to continue to climb, and the U.S. federal budget deficit is not slowing down anytime soon. Even with the Department of Government Efficiency, you see Elon Musk and Donald Trump arguing with each other. the Federal Reserve is completely shifting over to instant payments within the United States, global liquidity is continuing to expand while the altcoin market lags behind and is catching up to it, and Ripple is at the center of it all with RLUSD and XRP. So if you're wondering what should you do with your idle crypto, if you're just holding XRP long-term, or you're holding other ISO projects, or you're maybe even holding Bitcoin, Ethereum, SUI, other altcoins, well, if you want to safely turn your HODL portfolio into passive daily cash flow no matter market conditions, well, throughout 3 live sessions, we're revealing the exact DeFi system that our team uses to beat traditional market returns without watching charts all day or losing sleep over volatility. I'll leave a link in the description below. You can get your free ticket. And starting July 20th at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, going through July 22nd for 3 days in a row, we're going to be doing these live calls showing you guys how to stop your crypto portfolio from collecting dust and create consistent daily cash flow. That way you can be able to earn your first yield in DeFi, picking the right liquidity pools, using our set it and forget it system that runs on autopilot with no constant babysitting. And you're going to discover the top stablecoin yield pools that are earning roughly 6 to 10%, some of them even higher than that, with low risk and zero technical headaches, even if you have no previous trading experience. So check that out. Link will be in the description below along with Altcoin Pro University. And I look forward to seeing you guys July 20th, 8 days from right now. So in the meantime, we're backing up our truck all the way to the bank, grabbing the bags, packing them, stacking them, leaving no bags left behind because we believe the spending power of the dollar is going to continue to go down in value. That's a fact based on inflation. Blockchain technology, distributed ledger technology, cryptocurrencies have been going up in value. That's also a fact in the truth. And together, we're all running to the top. I'll see you guys in the next video. I will see you July 20th live. So you know what to do. As always, stay bullish. Our research team posted GOAT on the 13th of October of 2024 when it was right at a penny, and since then it rallied to over $1, 5,000%. That's like turning $1,000 into over $50,000. Our team called Pendle at only a $16 million market cap, or 16 cents, back on February 18th of 2023, all the way back here, and since then it's rallied up over 4,000%. That's a 40x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $40,000. Our team also called BitTensor Tau September 15th, 2022, before the token was ever even launched. And since then, Tau has rallied over 2,000%. That's a 20x. Our team even said Solana is most likely to be one of the easiest trades next year, and this was posted December 29th, 2022, on the day that Solana bottomed out at around $8. And since then, Solana looks like it's up over 2,500%. That's a 25x. It's like turning $1,000 into over $25,000. The list goes on and on and on. Our team called SUI, Ondo, and even some of the biggest cult-based meme coins like MOG back in July 20th of 2023, the day that MOG launched. So if you want to learn how our team is finding these altcoins before they explode, we just launched Altcoin Pro University, where our research team gives you real-time altcoin picks with explosive potential for this bull run, along with 100+ expert curated classes crafted by industry experts to discover these gems yourself, on top of our live weekly calls every single week for in-depth crypto market analysis and daily updates. And that's just a fraction of what we offer inside of Altcoin Pro University through the link below. And although we make no guarantees because crypto is definitely risky, guys, this is only $97 a month or $970 a year. If you want to save $194, getting 2 months for free and unlock some exclusive bonuses, just go through the link in the description below. Get in right now. Watch the 26-minute video covering everything that Altcoin Pro University offers to help you become the first millionaire in your family tree, if that's a goal of yours. And you can get started through the link in the description below right now, or you can go to bullrunners.com to take advantage of the bonuses we're giving you before they expire. Everyone is loving the community. They're loving the education. They're getting access to real-time altcoin picks first before we ever make videos about them. So click the link in the description below, watch the video, and I'll see you on the inside.